Hello, our names are Jung Lee, Andy Zhu, and Corine Lee. We will be showing you how to do empirical formula questions. This is our general chemistry extra credit project. The combustion of a 0.9835 gram sample of a compound containing only carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen produced 1.9 gram of CO2 and 1.072 gram of H2O. What is the empirical formula of this compound? We can write a general formula to represent the reaction in the question. Written on this slide is the formula for the combustion of the sample. Written below that is the grams we were given for each substance.
To solve this question, we must find the grams of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. We begin by finding the grams of carbon by using percent composition to find out how much of CO2 is carbon. We find that about 27.3% of CO2 is carbon. Now we simply multiply that by 1.9 grams, our grams of CO2, to find how much carbon we have. We end up with 0.519 grams of carbon. Now we simply do the same for H2O to find the amount of hydrogen in grams. We find the percent composition of how much H is in H2O. We find that about 11% of water is hydrogen. We then multiply that by the amount of H2O in the reaction, which is 1.072 grams, to get the total amount of hydrogen.
Now that we know the grams of carbon and hydrogen, which is 0.519 gram and 0.119 gram respectively, we subtract both of these masses from the mass of the sample, which is 0.9835 grams. This will give us the grams of the oxygen in the reaction. We find that we have 0.3455 grams of oxygen. We must now find the number of moles of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. We divide each of their mass by their respective molar masses, and that will give us the number of moles for each component. In this case, we find that carbon has 0.0433 moles, hydrogen with 0.1190 moles, and oxygen with 0.0216 moles. The final step is to find the empirical formula. We use the lowest number of moles, which in this case oxygen, with 0.0216 moles, and dividing the moles of hydrogen and carbon by that amount. This gives us the ratio of 2, 5.5, and 1. But since you want the whole numbers for your empirical formula, we multiply the ratios by 2 to get 4, 11, and 2. The empirical formula for this question is C4H11O2.